Deshaun Watson has taken the lead over Shedeur Sanders in the Browns quarterback. Deshaun can't move the ball in 2-minute drills.
Hold up. Mary Kay Cabot just dropped a report saying Deshaun Watson has the inside track to win the Browns quarterback job over Shedeur Sanders after 3 practices in shorts. No pads, no contact, just routes on air, and suddenly people want to hand Watson the job right now? No more competition needed? But here's the thing nobody's saying out loud. The same week that report came out, the guys who are actually standing on that practice field started saying the exact opposite. And once you hear what they're seeing, you're going to understand exactly why this lead might be the emptiest headline of the summer. Let's set the table first because context matters here. April 29th, Mary Kay Cabot puts out a report saying Deshaun Watson has taken the lead over Shedeur in the quarterback competition, that he has the inside track, and that the Browns should just declare him QB1 right now. No waiting, no more competition, case closed, according to that report. Now, on paper, sure, that sounds like a headline. Deshaun Watson is a 10-year veteran. He's started playoff games. He's got the resume. But let's talk about what that resume is actually built on right now, because it matters more than people want to admit. Watson is playing on a contract worth $230 million, fully guaranteed, and of the games he was supposed to play under that deal, he's appeared in roughly 13% of them. 2 Achilles tears, almost the entirety of the 2025 season lost. This is the last fully guaranteed contract of its kind for a quarterback in this league, and it's part of the reason the NFL got sued over collusion in the first place. That's the backdrop nobody puts in the headline. So when a report says he's taken the lead, you have to ask, a lead in what exactly? 3 practices, no pads, routes on air. That's not football, that's choreography. And on the other side of that competition is Shedeur Sanders, a second-year player who basically had his rookie season cut in half. He didn't get a real runway to build anything. He got thrown into the fire mid-year when Dillon Gabriel went down with a concussion in Week 11 against the Ravens, and he never gave the job back after that. That's essentially still his rookie season, just delayed, and now he's getting his first real full offseason as QB1. So you've got a young quarterback who's essentially getting his first real training camp as a starter, going up against a 10-year vet who is, by every account, still trying to shake off 2 years of injury and rebuild timing in a totally new offense. And for 1 week, based on shorts and air routes, the story became Watson's ahead. That's the panic. That's the headline everybody ran with. And it spread fast because it's simple. Veteran beats kid, case closed. But panic headlines and practice reality are 2 very different things. And what came out of that same building just days later completely flips the script on everything that report claimed.
Deshaun Watson has taken the lead over Shedeur Sanders in the Browns quarterback competition. Like, that sounds so crazy. This was after 3 practices, by the way, in shorts, throwing routes on air, right? And as it stands right now, or no, let me read this. Watson has taken the lead over Shedeur Sanders. It has the inside track to win it. I think they should declare him QB1 ASAP and let the There's no time to waste.
Okay, that's the claim everyone ran with. Now let's get into what the people who are actually there are saying, because here's where it gets interesting. Bernie Kosar, and I need y'all to understand something about Bernie Kosar. This man is a real deal former NFL quarterback. When Bernie talks quarterback play, that's not some blogger guessing off a highlight reel. That's someone who's lived in that huddle at the highest level. And Bernie has been watching this camp closely through Browns Daily. And what he's been saying is the complete opposite of Watson has the lead. 2 days in a row, Bernie's reaction to Shedeur was some version of, wow, look how sharp he's been. And he made a point that stuck with me. He said, once you get into 2-minute drills, that's when it's real football. Everything else, the situational reps, the walkthroughs, that's just installation, that's just teaching. But 2-minute drill, that's when the offense has to move fast, read fast, and execute without a script. No time to think, just react. And in that specific setting, the one Bernie called the realist test on the practice field, Shedeur was moving the offense down the field. Watson wasn't. Same clip, Bernie says it plainly, no hedging. Deshaun can't move the ball in 2-minute drills, can't be consistent. And by the way, Dillon Gabriel, the guy who started ahead of Shedeur as a rookie last year, is currently sitting at QB2 right now behind both of them. Let that sink in for a second. The report says Watson's ahead. The guy calling the games in real time, a former NFL starting quarterback, is saying Watson can't function in the exact drill that separates starters from backups at this level. And it's not just Bernie. Reporters who are physically standing on that field, not people refreshing a quarterback tracker from their couch, started saying the same thing independently. Max Lowe put it bluntly. Watson went 3 and out. Nick Wilson, who covers Browns media full-time, said only one quarterback has actually looked good out there through camp. Multiple names, different outlets, no coordination between them, and they're landing on the same conclusion, and none of them are naming Watson as the guy who looked good. So now you've got a real split forming. On one side, a report built on 3 shorts practices calling the job for the veteran before pads ever go on. On the other side, a former NFL quarterback and multiple beat reporters who were there every single day, watching the actual drills that decide these jobs, saying the second-year guy is the one making it look easy. That's not a small disagreement you can shrug off. That's 2 completely different stories about the exact same training camp happening in the exact same week.
Bernie Kosar, it gives such great insight. That's who y'all want. Do not listen to things about quarterbacks. I need y'all, and I've told y'all this multiple times. Things don't know what I be yapping. Bernie Kosar is a real deal quarterback. That's the insight you want to hear. And we heard Bernie say, wow, look how sharp Shedeur's been. That's 2 days in a row. Oh, wow. When it gets to 2-minute drills, and Bernie has talked about it, oh, they actually get to have this is when it's real football. All the other stuff is like, situational and this, and you're doing all that stuff. And that's where Shedeur is shining. Deshaun can't move the ball in 2-minute drills.
And it doesn't stop with Bernie. The people running the building are saying something too, and it's worth hearing it straight from them. So let's go straight to the source. Head coach Todd Monken. This is a guy who has zero incentive to hype anybody up for the cameras. He's trying to win football games, not sell headlines. And when he was asked directly about Shedeur, here's what he actually said. He talked about being highly impressed over the last several months with how far Shedeur has come as a player, and said he's only going to continue to get better from here. Monken pointed out something real too, that Shedeur got the offense through spring, then the team went completely dark for 6 weeks, and now he's coming back into a brand new system and still improving his operation every single day he's out there. Monken's exact words were about eliminating the anxiety, his own and Shedeur's, when it comes to getting in and out of the huddle and handling the line of scrimmage. That's coach speak for the mental part of the game is catching up to the physical part, and it's happening fast. Now compare that to what Monken said when asked about Watson in that same session, back to back. Listen to the tone shift. He said they'd get a better feel for things once practices get longer, once they start running actual move-the-ball sessions instead of just situational reps in 2-minute settings. He said the last 2 days, with Watson on the field running those drives, the offense, quote, hasn't functioned very well. His words. Not a hot take from a YouTuber, not a fan account on Twitter, the head coach on camera saying the offense with Watson at quarterback has not been functioning the way it needs to. That's a massive gap in how these 2 guys are being described by the exact same man. With Shedeur, Monken's talking about growth, about a young player climbing fast inside a new system. With Watson, a 10-year veteran who's supposedly ahead in this competition according to one report, Monken's talking about an offense that flat out isn't working yet. And here's the part that really puts it in perspective when you step back. Shedeur is doing all of this, still learning a brand new offense, still handling pre-snap procedure as only a second-year player, and he's out there outplaying a 10-year veteran in the exact drills that matter most for evaluating a starter. If the biggest knock on Shedeur right now is that he needs to clean up procedural stuff, memorizing checks, tightening up the operation before the snap, that is a correctable, coachable problem. That's not a talent problem. That's not a ceiling problem. That's a rep count problem. And reps are the one thing training camp gives you more of every single day it goes on.
And then what Todd had to say about Deshaun Watson. I think this is interesting.
You just keep practicing. You just keep playing. I mean, that's really what you do. I mean, he's still a young player. And we'd like it to happen now. We all would. And but I've been highly impressed over the last, 4 months that I've been around him, how far he's come as a player. And he's only going to continue to get better. It's just, again, there's a lot to take in when you're installed. You know, we got through the spring, and then we're gone for 6 weeks. And then you start back up again in a new system. And so I think you'll continue to see his operation mechanics improve. And I think that's the biggest part right now is in and out of the huddle, getting line of scrimmage, eliminating that anxiety. His anxiety and my anxiety.
Now, here's where it really gets exposed. Put Monken's own words about Watson right next to what respected voices around the building are saying, and the picture gets even more lopsided. Because Monken wasn't the only one measured about Watson. When Monken was pushed further on the veteran, he wouldn't declare a winner outright. His exact stance was, hey, I don't want to declare any winners. All I'll say is what I've heard from respected football voices around this building. And what he said next is the line that should honestly be the actual headline coming out of this whole camp. He said Shedeur has something that can push the ball downfield. And then he said it about Watson too, but not the way you'd expect from a coach protecting his veteran. He said if it were up to some of these evaluators, watching Watson right now looks like a 9-year veteran the team might need to consider moving on from. That's not my line. That's not some outside hot take. That's coming from people inside that building talking to the head coach. Then he pivoted right back to Shedeur and said, yeah, he might be rough around the edges, but it's his second year. It's his first offseason getting first-team reps as the guy, and he's figuring it out fast. Monken's exact phrase for it was, that gets dangerous. A young quarterback closing the gap that quickly in real time during the exact camp window when jobs actually get decided, not in April, but in August. So let's zoom out on what actually happened here from start to finish. One report, built on 3 practices in shorts with no pads on, called the job for the veteran and told the Browns to just hand it over immediately. But once real 2-minute drills started, once real coaching evaluations came in, once people who are physically on that field every single day started talking, the entire story flipped. Bernie Kosar saying Shedeur is sharp 2 days straight and Watson can't move the ball. Multiple independent reporters saying only one quarterback looks good out there through camp. The head coach himself on the record saying the offense with Watson hasn't functioned, while praising Shedeur's growth by name in the same breath. That's the real situation here, not the headline from April 29th that everyone screenshotted and ran with. The version that's been building every single day since then, coming from the people who don't have a report to sell. They've got a season to win and a job to keep. And that gap between the original report and the reality on the ground is exactly why this competition is nowhere near as settled as one early story made it sound.
Amen. I don't want to declare any winners. All I'll say is I've heard it from the likes of Bernie Sanders, Hanford Dixon.
So think about that for a second. A 10-year, $230 million veteran, and the coach still won't hand him the job outright. Let's recap what we actually know, because it's easy to lose the thread in all the noise online. A report comes out in late April saying Watson's ahead, based on 3 no-pads practices, routes on air, nothing live. That's the claim everyone ran with instantly. Then real 2-minute drills start, the one setting that actually mirrors game speed and decision-making, and Bernie Kosar, a former NFL starting quarterback, says Shedeur is sharp 2 days straight, while Watson can't move the ball or stay consistent in the same drills. Reporters standing on the field, not guessing from home, back that up independently. Then the head coach himself goes on record saying the offense with Watson hasn't been functioning well, while praising Shedeur's growth by name and pointing to specific, real reasons why. A brand new system, a shortened off-season runway, a young player closing the gap fast in front of everybody's eyes. Nobody's saying Watson's done. Nobody's saying this competition is settled. What's clear is the report that kicked off this whole narrative was built on the smallest possible sample size you could find, and everything that's come out since paints a very different picture. A picture where the second-year guy, still learning the offense from scratch, still cleaning up procedure before the snap, is the one making veteran evaluators around the building nervous. That's the part that got buried under one early headline, and that's the part worth paying real attention to as camp keeps going. So here's the real question. Do you trust the report from 3 practices in shorts? Or do you trust the head coach, a former NFL quarterback, and the reporters standing on that field every single day watching the actual drills that decide starting jobs? Because right now, those 2 stories don't match up, and only one of them is being backed up by what's actually happening on the grass in Berea. Drop it in the comments. Are you Team Watson has the lead, or Team Shedeur's already closing the gap and everybody around that building knows it? Smash like and subscribe.